Over the past couple of weeks, several major companies have made decisions to call staff back to the office full-time, sparking a heated debate. On Monday, a petition demanding the ad-giant WPP revoking its new office policy attracted 10,000 signatures in just 4 days. That's after City AM revealed that it would be forcing staff to come back 4 days a week. And last week, around 4,000 members of the Public and Commercial Service Union were set to take industrial action after staff were ordered to come back to the office 3 days a week. During COVID and in the years following, a lot of people set their lives up around flexible working systems. It looks like those plans are now being flipped. So do employees have some scope to push back? Let's break down on the legal side of things. Can employers force employees back to the office? Well, this all comes down to employees' contracts. An employee contract must set out the core working hours and sometimes specifies agile or hybrid working arrangements. Garvey Hanjout, a partner of Bloomsbury Square Employment Law, said that if a contract specifies that normal place of work is in the office, then in most circumstances the employer can insist upon an employee returning to that office. From the employer's side, businesses have to consider the reasons for any employee refusals reasonably, particularly where issues such as health reasons, childcare, or care of dependent elderly relatives are raised. But that doesn't prevent employers from instructing the whole workforce to return. So can employees challenge this change? Well, last April, the right to request flexible working became a day one right, replacing the previous requirements for employees to have at least 26 weeks service under their belt before asking. The law was not the right to have flexible working, but the right to request it. And back to the issue of employment contracts. Due to COVID, many employers introduced working from home policies rather than changing the place of work in employment contracts. Working from home policies are usually non-contractual, meaning they're outside the employment contract and are not legally binding. So they can usually be changed by employer depending on the need of the business. Can employees be penalised for not turning to the office? Tanya Goodman, a partner at law firm Collier Bristows, stated that an employee would be penalised if they didn't comply with the policies. She said if an employee doesn't have the contractable right to insist on remote working, then the refusal could amount to misconduct with consequential disciplinary sanctions. This includes dismissal. With all this in mind, are there any proposals that might protect the right to flexible working in the Employment Rights Bill? The Employment Rights Bill has kept every employment lawyer very busy since it was revealed by the new government last October. The bill does touch on flexible working, but there are some rules around what permits it. The proposed changes include any refusal to grant a request must not just be the one of 8 statutory reasons, but it must also be reasonable to recuse the request. Employers would also be required to explain the decision is reasonable. And a new code of practice on the right to disconnect will also be included, which intends to prevent remote working turning into homes of 24/7 offices. The Employment Tribunal will also see a knock-on effect from this overhaul. And despite the headline-catching changes contained within the bill, a backlog at the Employment Tribunal will make it harder for employees to hold employers to account. Here at City AM, we would like to know, do you think employees should have the right to a flexible working setup? Let us know in the comments and follow City AM for more.